Thank you.
Hi, Bobby.
I'll get one. Can you sign that?
Nope.
Pretty please.
Oh, yes, you thank you. Oh, heck no. Got a couple, 3 weeks before that happens.
Thank you.
Not yet.
She's getting ready to give them to you.
Coming soon. All right, let's get this show on the road. How you doing there, Joe? How's it going? To have you out, man. You too. You need something tired. How can you be tired? All right. Get this show on the road. Talk to me.
And this is funded no question. I don't want to put a burden on you guys for that, but if I was to say $200 even thing for people, you could say about 200. It's going good. What if I wanted?
He's gonna ask for support from the city.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen it on here.
It's on here. I kinda lost him. I don't know where he went.
Where's it at? I don't see it.
It's on council.
Sure?
You don't even get that insurance.
Yeah. Where?
Yeah, you can go in there. Yeah, and just come down is all you have to do. Yeah, that's easy.
And that's okay. I'll put it on.
You have the rest.
Oh, if you can get silver sneakers, you can really have to get it for. Yeah, just scan that for exercise and stuff. But that's it. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all. If you have it, that's fine. If you don't,
We need a special motion
we don't turn anybody away down there.
And she usually,
donation committee. We need a special.
and she usually has a
Yeah.
a special.
Separate, yeah.
Yeah, he told me
I think
that.
that was the only question to read about.
We did last time. No.
Oh, okay. And all he's asking for is what? I'm gonna have him come to
Yes. Yeah, oh, there he is, back up.
asking for monetary?
No, remember, you don't do that. Stage, portalets. Good,
Okay.
Hi.
All right, we're good.
That's Bobby Mills.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
I'm not gonna call for it.
No, they're on the back too.
Whatever they say is fine with me. Okay, thanks.
What we got first here, Board of Works? Let's get out of here.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome tonight to City Lawrenceburg Board of Works meeting for May 15th, 2017. Could I get a roll call, please?
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Member Alan Calloway.
Here.
Assistant Chief of Police David Scheider. Here. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. Here. EMS Director Bobby Mills. City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Milan.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, any announcements? No announcements. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion.
Second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry. And I believe we had an emergency special session, or special Board of Works we got to approve as well for April 28th, so I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes as well. So moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. All right, thanks, guys. Committee reports. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine.
Oh, I got tonight. Everybody's aware that we do car seat installations. We have a certified firefighter down there that does the installation. I just wanted to let the board know that he was invited or asked to go to Ohio County to do a presentation with the SEIOC at Stewart. Apparently there's an issue with people paying attention with car seat safety. So one of our, Rob Schutte and one of our part-time firefighters, Allison Mize, who is a Children's Hospital trauma nurse, they're going to go down and do a presentation.
Oh, great.
So I just wanted to inform the board so word gets out.
Great.
All right.
Good stuff. Assistant Police Chief David Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to inform the board the transition on the security at Dearborn County Hospital. I know Mr. Schrader on an email from the ICU manager here not too long ago complimenting the transition and the security detail that's provided by Lawrenceburg Police Department. We're pointing in a positive direction there, and we're doing nothing back. We haven't had any incidents up there that
I heard the same out of CMHC as well, so. Good, okay. Anything else, Dave? Okay. EMS Director Bobby Mills.
Mayor, haven't gone over these statistics with the month of April, 181 calls. Correct. Also, you haven't gone over the routine care. This is the block truck that's being built. You see the top line of 146,390. Now, we brought this up last year.
Mm-hmm.
36 or 39.9's already been taken care of.
That's been paid.
That's been paid, that's been to
Okay. Delivery time.
This truck's already in line with
Okay. So did we not encumber that money last year to?
We do have that money.
No, I'm asking Brittany and Suzanne though, if we encumbered that money, because if we encumbered it, we wouldn't have to vote on it again.
No, it was, yeah, it was involved up. We took $200,000.
I remember that, but it's budgeted? Okay, then we're okay.
Okay. So I need.
So it'll be ready in September or October?
That's what we said.
Okay. Are the other ones, the other three okay now?
We had two.
Two.
Firehouses that wanted to.
Okay, so two operational.
We just had it over back, probably another week.
Okay. All right. Any questions from you guys about the ambulance? Okay. All right. Thanks, Bobby.
Thank you.
Anything else?
All right.
All right. Under new business, I've got one item. The Speedway lease that we had met with the promoters on, what I had asked council to do was to put in here the terms and such that we had agreed upon. I hope you've reviewed it. Looks exactly what we agreed upon to me. So if you guys are okay with it, I'd entertain a motion to accept.
Make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thanks for your work on that, guys. And I don't have any other new business. I don't know if you guys do.
I
Yes.
just have something to bring up. I'm not sure who needs to check into it, but it was brought to my attention that down on the walking trail,
Uh-huh,
down around the I&M area,
uh-huh.
that the tree limbs are hanging down, and if people are on bicycles coming up through there and you're walking, they have to duck under the limbs,
All right.
and They probably need to be trimmed back before somebody takes one in the eye.
All right, we will get somebody to get on that. Thanks, Mooch. Anything else?
No.
All right. Under old business, Mr. Clark, Street Tree Inventory and Management Award.
Thank you, Your Honor. We went through the formal process, advertised, and we did receive one quote for the tree inventory and management program. That's pretty much what Carrie with IDNR told us. She said we would probably only get one, but she highly recommended the one, and that is the firm. So this time I'd like to open this and see if we can't get this awarded tonight. And it is from Davy Resource Group. And they have a total amount of $20,285. And they have, it appears that they also have some additional services that later on we may or may not be interested in that they have priced out. But from what I've gotten from talking with these people and IDNR, I would recommend that we award this contract to Davy Resources.
And what they're going to do is an entire management of all of our trees in the city?
Right. And we have certain areas, it's street trees and certain downtown parks.
Right.
We don't have all of Ludlow Hill Park included in there.
Ludlow Hill Park is not included?
That was just too big, too many trees.
Okay.
And we can always add that, but they're going to come in and first thing do a street tree and park tree inventory.
Okay.
And then they'll start to generate a management plan on what we should plant, what we should remove, what we shouldn't plant, the whole 9 yards. And there is actually a special software package that comes with this that was included in the bid advertisement.
Okay.
So, you know, it'll take a little bit of time to get through this entire process, but, and we also have a grant for a portion of this too.
Right.
That was what I was gonna ask Mike, there was something about a grant on that.
Yeah, we did, and that's one of the reasons we had to hold up, because the requirements in that grant is you have to receive their official paperwork before you can do anything, or else it won't be included in the dollar amount to get the matching dollars for.
Will they help us around in between our streets and sidewalks as far as letting us know if we do have enough
Absolutely.
room?
That will be part of the management program that they'll come back and report and tell us what we should or shouldn't be doing.
And all we got to do is abide by it, right?
Right. But, so if we could, and I don't remember, you guys haven't voted on this yet, have you?
No.
At the end of their recommendation, will we have the proper specs to put it out for bid, or is this gonna be phased street by street, or how would you guys go about that?
I would say there's probably, we're a little premature on some of that, because these guys are professionals, they'll help us, but I'm sure they will prioritize certain areas first. Number one on the list, I guarantee, will be the removal of the remaining ash trees.
All right.
Because we still have some of those that weren't dead last year, they definitely are now.
Okay. All right, anything else, Mike?
No.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the bid of $20,285 from, what was the company's name?
Davy Resource.
Davy Resources, from Davy Resource. So moved. Okay, gonna get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. I don't have any other old business unless you guys do.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
we have some quotes to come under old business.
Okay.
What was you saying? But this would be at the fairgrounds, the shelter next to the restrooms there. I think they have 4-H use it for their rabbits and cage. Yeah, we did have one set of quotes tabled from the restrooms from the last meeting. But this would be on the shelters. That would just include the fascia boards. Lawrenceburg pin bit the dust there.
How many quotes did you get?
We have 3 quotes.
Okay.
The first one for the fascia is from Knoll Construction, $1,520.
Okay.
Staub Construction, $2,140.
Yeah, he's sharpened.
Yeah, you could write that. Double D Construction, $900. And that's all for the fascia.
Okay.
Do you want to do individual votes, or I've got 2 other projects?
Oh, 2 other projects, I think we had to do individual. That's fine. And everybody quoted the same?
Correct.
Okay, so, because there's a pretty big discrepancy in the top and the bottom, so. All right, you guys got any comments?
I'd like, as long as you're okay in the, I'd like to recommend that we go with Double D. I know them and they're very capable of doing the work.
All right,
And we'll put this all subject to staff review
okay.
if you would put that in the motion.
All right, so the motion on the floor is to go with the bid of $900 from Double D Construction upon staff review. Can I get a motion? Paul?
Yeah, so moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next.
Next project would be the fairground roofs at the restroom.
What was this, I'm sorry, the roof?
The roof at the, this is one was tabled from the last meeting. Maxwell Construction, $16,866. Mike Knoll Construction, $17,670. That's enough.
It's a good metal.
Staub Construction, $22,780.
You got 4?
Yes. Hutchinson Roofing, $23,780. $780.
What was Maxwell's, the first one? 16 something?
16,866.
Okay, that's what I had, okay. All right, is that all of those for that one?
This?
Okay. I'll entertain a motion on the roof, the roof of the restroom over at the fairgrounds.
Make a motion that we move forward with Maxwell Construction at 16,866.
Okay, so the motion on the floor is to go forward with Maxwell Construction at $16,866 upon staff approval.
Staff approval, yes.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you. What we got next?
Next would be the walk-in cooler at Agner Hall, would be the framing and installation.
Okay.
Mike Knoll Construction. $2,378.
Okay.
Staub Construction. $2,660. Double D Construction. $2,575. And that's all we have.
That's what you got? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk to us at all? Got a motion?
I make a motion that we accept Knoll at 2378.
All right, so the motion on the floor for the walk-in cooler at the fairgrounds, this is for framing and insulation.
Correct.
All right, is from Knoll Construction of $2,378 upon staff approval. Can I get a motion, please? Is motion's made, Mooch has made a motion. Second?
And I got one question.
Sure.
Now, Mario, did we order a walk-in install too that's gonna go inside that?
A liner kit does go inside that.
So we're gonna have a liner kit, will Noel put that in, or we gonna? Okay,
We've got Valley, who actually built and supplying the liner kit.
okay, so I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? That motion will carry. Anything else, Mario?
No, sir, that's it.
Thanks for getting those quotes.
Not a problem.
I don't have any other old business. I'll entertain a motion to pay the claims.
Motion?
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Utility Board will be as soon as we're seated.
Trees. Aaron's got the look going on. Get the GQ Council of the Year.
Okay. Call to order the May 15, 2017 City of Lawrenceburg Utility Board meeting. Can I get a roll call, please?
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
City Attorney Del Weldon.
Yeah.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
President Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Any announcements, Mr. Clausen?
I've got a couple, but I'll cover them under the committee reports.
Okay. If nobody else has any announcements, yes?
I do, Your Honor. I had the privilege of going to the APPA National Rodeo, accompanying the Lawrenceburg rodeo team. It was their first year in competition. They didn't win, but they did very well. And I appreciate the opportunity. The guys worked hard. The temperature that day, the air temperature was 99 degrees. And they were ready to go to bed at the end of the day, so. But they did a very good job.
Did you climb any poles?
Thanks to, did I? No, I looked at a bunch.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good, good. I'm glad you went and supported them. Any other announcements? I'll entertain a motion then to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
Moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Committee reports.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Davis touched on the APBA's National Lineman Rodeo. A couple of details on it. There were approximately 80 teams that were competing across the nation. Many of the teams have been competing for years. As was evidenced by their ability. Some of them were very impressive. Of all the teams, Indiana had a lot of really good representation, number of utilities that were there. I think there was a record number of attendance and competitors this year, as well as in the apprenticeship portions of the events. I think there was over 100 apprentices in total.
Wow.
Out of 80 some odd teams Lawrenceburg placed, it really didn't matter. I was super proud of the guys, but they were in the high 60s. One thing that differentiated our team from the other teams was this was literally our first rodeo outside of Lawrenceburg, first time competing. A lot of the events, because we've been busy over at the AEP property, they just didn't have time to practice for. So they went down just kind of shooting from the hip on a couple things. So I was really impressed with how they did. And they just really represented the community well, they represented the utility well, and they absolutely represented the trade well. So I was very pleased with them.
Good.
Also,
Who were those guys?
Eric Webster, Shane Holloway, Mike Harper, Scott McAdams, he's in the department but took vacation to come down and support the guys. And then I was listed as an alternate, but thank heavens I didn't have to compete. So, but so that's who I was there.
Okay. All right. Next.
Yes, also under the committee reports, Nikki Dick is here with us tonight from IMPA. And so as soon as I'm done with committee reports, I don't have any new business or old business. I'd like to yield my time to her for a short presentation.
Okay.
So,
Sure. That's quite all right. While she's setting up, I'll remind the audience of a mistake that I made in the upcoming meetings. The June 5th meeting is going to be rescheduled for June 1st. My wife and kids and grandkids planned a family vacation, and I, for some reason, thought our meeting was on the 12th. And so council has allowed me the opportunity to change that, so I appreciate that. So anyway, just want to let everybody in the audience know that the June 5th meeting will be on June 1st, and we'll advertise accordingly. So.
I read that. Memo.
Mike, where's Logan?
Okay.
Oh, okay, I see him now.
Thank you. Thanks, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. I'll share it with you, I guess. I don't know yet.
It's fancy.
Olin, you have an extra one? Tony, he got skipped. He wasn't in the seat as he's supposed to be.
He got out. It's like school today.
All right. It's all yours.
My name is Amy. I'm with the Indiana Municipal Power Agency. I'm with our member services department, so our role is to really work with our member communities and try to support you guys in whatever you need from us. Board of Health to work with Olin, who is our commissioner on the board.
Could you go to the podium so we can get it recorded? Thank you. That's good.
Okay. We're happy to work with Olin, who serves as the the commissioner from Lawrenceburg on our Board of Commissioners. He meets monthly with the rest of our group from our 61 communities in Indiana and Ohio. And really, I've just come down tonight. We've made a choice this year to try and get out to a lot of our member communities. We know several communities have new elected officials, new council members. So we're just trying to get out there to share a little bit of information about the agency, as well as kind of let you know about some of the services that we offer and some of the support that we can provide to you. And rather than listening to me talk about it, we put together a short little video that can better detail all of those things more so than I can. So I'll just show you that video. And I've given each of you a packet of information that contains a lot of those details about the services that we do provide.
Okay. Thank you.
President and CEO of Indiana Municipal Power Agency. Thank you for allowing IMPA to take this moment to introduce ourselves. IMPA is your community's wholesale power provider. This means we generate and purchase power which we then sell to your community. Your utility in turn distributes that power to local homes and businesses. IMPA was founded in 1983 by 11 municipally owned electric utilities just like yours. Since then, IMP has grown to serve 61 member communities in both Indiana and Ohio. Our core business consists of providing our members with a low-cost, reliable, and environmentally responsible power supply through a diverse power portfolio. For some of you, this may be new information, but others, it is a reminder of the long history and partnership that the Indiana Municipal Power Agency and your community share.
The Indiana Municipal Power Agency was created as a political subdivision of the state of Indiana by the General Assembly in 1980. As a not-for-profit joint action agency, IMPA does not pay dividends to shareholders and has access to tax-exempt financing. The goal of the agency has always been to provide low-cost, reliable, and environmentally responsible power to municipally owned electric utilities across Indiana. IMPA's electric rates are among the lowest in the state, and we expect to continue to have some of the lowest rates for many years to come. We began to provide power to 24 Indiana municipal utilities in 1983. As of today, IMPA serves 60 Indiana communities and 1 in Ohio. That's a total customer population of approximately 340,000. IMPA is a financially strong company with annual revenues of approximately $460 million and total assets of approximately $1.7 billion. IMPA provides power to our members on a total requirements basis, which means we provide all of the power to your community. If your utility was to add or lose a large electric customer, it's up to IMPA to adjust the power provided to your community. In this way, IMPA takes the risk of any changes in your power supply needs. In order to provide for our members' power needs, IMPA has invested in power resources to meet that need. IMPA wholly or jointly owns 15 power resources that are comprised of 21 units. IMPA's total power load is 1,300 megawatts. What isn't generated by IMPA-owned generation, about 14%, is purchased in the market. The IMPA Market Operations Center is checking our members' power needs and finds the lowest prices in the market every 15 minutes of every hour, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. To continue IMPA's promise to provide an environmentally responsible power supply, as well as to keep future rates stable, IMPA has begun constructing solar power generating facilities in as many of our member communities as possible. So far, we have installed just over 24 megawatts in 13 solar parks across the state. Our goal is to continue to add at least 10 megawatts a year. While our core business is to provide electricity that keeps your lights on, over the years, IMPA has added additional services and resources to strengthen and support our members' local communities. This includes the IMPA Service Corp, which provides cost-effective system engineering, design construction, maintenance, and member cost of service studies, as well as rate design services. IMPA further supports its members with government relations, economic development, marketing and communications assistance, as well as energy efficiency and green power programs as part of its member services division. Lawrenceburg was founded in 1802, and much of the downtown area is a National Historic District. Lawrenceburg was an important trading center for riverboats along the Ohio River. A founding member of IMPA, Lawrenceburg joined the agency in 1983. The city has a peak load of 28 megawatts. IMPA is governed by its members, and each member community has a seat on the IMPA board. Your IMPA commissioner is Lawrenceburg Utilities Director Olin Clausen. IMPA's long-term focus enables the Indiana Municipal Power Agency to provide a low-cost, reliable, and environmentally responsible power supply to its members. Our experienced and dedicated team is here to help you succeed.
We are proud to be a wholesale power provider, and we want to help your community in every way that we can. We look forward to strengthening our relationship and serving you for years to come. Thank you.
As I said, that was just a quick overview of what all that IMPA does and the services that we provide. I highly encourage you, and we would be happy to have you guys come to any of our board meetings. They occur on the last Friday of every month. We also offer several training programs throughout the year. We have one coming up in June, on June 14th, which is our Electricity 101 seminar. So it's just a general overview of the utility industry and electricity. It's a great program to come to, so we would welcome all of you to come to that. I have one other thing to present to you as a founding member of IMPA and as one of our communities. We would like to present you with this plaque for Lawrenceburg Municipal Utilities as well as the City of Lawrenceburg.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to see the picture real quick.
You guys get up here.
You do a fine job.
Very much.
Thank you.
And with that, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to come down.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you for coming down.
I will add that IMPA is very responsive to the things that we need in the community. I think it was 2 weeks ago, we passed the economic development rate. That in the future could be a huge asset to us. The training programs, it's not just the utilities that takes advantage of those. We're sending all of the city's workforce up there that wants to go if it pertains to something that they're doing. So those are of great value to us. I think Mr. Abden has mentioned to me just how insightful some of those programs and trainings are and what a savings it is to the city. So they're a great partner for us. They certainly have been in our corner on a multitude of issues, whether it be legislation, strong lobbying arm for us, or some of the legal issues that we've not for any reason of our own, but some of the things that we've gotten into, we've just always had a supporting partner there for us to help us and assist us. And so there's a lot of strength that comes with that. So thank you.
Besides, Roger's a good guy, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Nikki. All right. Anything else? Oh,
No, Your Honor.
okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the claims. Moved. Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will adjourn. Or motion All right. We'll call the City of Lawrenceburg City Council meeting together to order up for May 15, 2017. All rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can I get a roll call, please?
Member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Member Aaron Cook.
Here.
Member Mel Davis.
Here.
Member Randy Abner.
Here.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.
Here.
Assistant Police Chief David Schneider. Here. Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. Here. EMS Director Bobby Mills. City Attorney Del Weldon.
Here.
Utility Director Olin Clausen.
Present.
Mayor Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, under announcements, board reports, streets, alleys, and curbs, and Mr. Cook.
I got a few things, Mayor. One of the first things is something that Mr. Calloway brought up in the Board of Works meeting. There's some trees on some streets that are out in the streets where, like, say, cars or trucks or buses are going on the street and they're hitting tree branches. And where they're pulling parking spots and the trees are down where people are parking, they're hitting the branches.
Any particular areas, or do you?
The ones I see are by my house, but I don't know, it's probably on every street because it's the city trees. So it's probably happening on every street. I'm not positive, though.
Okay.
And then a few months ago, we approved the speed tables over there by Central, and then a few months ago, they were advertised and approved, and then we were waiting on the asphalt plants to open. I guess one was opened a month or two ago, but I still haven't seen anything going on with it over there.
You guys know what the timing is, or you heard anything from them?
This week, Friday, they said they would be in here sometime this week.
Okay.
That contract, they've got to the 27th, I think.
Okay. And where they were last year, I believe that 417 short, one of the speed bumps came right to the guy's ramp. If we could just move it 2 foot one way there.
They're not in the same location.
Okay.
Speed bumps. We looked at it and slightly relocated.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because it went right to his ramp, then went down the sideways right up to that, I guess, but he was asking.
South of that way.
Okay. Okay.
How many are going to be on Short Street? 3? And then how many on Tate? 2? Okay.
Okay. I guess this would fall on the streets, alleys, and curbs. And then the alley behind the dollar store, I brought up some issues like 5 or 6 months ago. I guess they're still going on. The fence at 215 West Center, we were going to talk to that guy and getting that back up, and I guess it's still not up. He's calling me again. Waller is the last name. I don't know where we're at with that.
We've got a fencing contractor we're trying to get pre-approved right now.
Okay. So just tell him, someone's going to come by and look at it. When should I tell him?
I can give him a call.
Okay.
I'll stop by.
Okay.
I mean, where are we at with this pre-approval? I mean, so little jobs like this, Mario, do you find that standing in your way at all?
Well, I mean, on my side, yes. But again, on the insurance company, I can see, when they're harping about, because Mike and I get drilled quite hard on the not doing the pre-qual. So, kind of a catch-22 for us.
Yeah, because this was like 4 or 5 months ago or something like that. It's just a fence right across the back of that yard there.
I mean, we got cities all over the country hiring people, and they ask for workman's comp insurance, different things, and get references, but I know we're a little tough on it, and on bigger jobs, I can say, I'm all for it, because it kind of separates some people from getting in there. But something like this, I just don't understand why we've got a full-time safety guy. I think that he should be able to go talk to them before they do something, and then if we ask for the standard things, Mario could have had this done.
And how much fence are we talking about?
Oh, for this particular job?
Yeah.
There's probably maybe 30 lineal foot. And a gate.
Can't we just get a contractor, it doesn't have to be a fence contractor, that can fix something like that?
Why can't the fence contractor that wants to do it?
Well, I'm not saying you can, I'm just saying that we've got...
And just, this is somewhat ancient history, but you gotta remember, We were dropped several years back because of a contractor that had a fatality. The insurance company that picked us up, they put us on the high risk, and this is what they mandated us to do. They do give us an annual audit to make sure that whoever we're paying is pre-qualified. And what this has done, we're not on the high risk at this time due to this. And there again, I'm relaying what the insurance vendor has told us, that this is going to keep you guys down below. If not, they told us that we may get placed back on high risk, or we may get dropped.
Well, and I had some similar talks with the insurance folks, and I get all that as well, but on something like this, I'm just asking a STOB or somebody that's already a pre-qual or something, can't they fix something like that? Rather than going to a true fence company? I mean, I don't know. I'm asking.
If you want them to do it, I mean, that's not.
Okay.
You know, sometimes, yes.
Okay.
Sometimes maybe, sometimes no. If they've got something in their wheelhouse to do, well, they're not going to drop that and do something that's out of their area. So.
This contractor would have his fence up probably within an hour's time after setting a post, you know what I mean? So it's not a big deal, it's just paperwork right now.
Mayor, what happened, you know the backstory on that? It's
I
just,
do know.
when they put the alley back there, they had to take the fence down, the people's fence, to put the alley in, and the city said, you know, we'll put something equal to or better than that was there before, and there's still no fence there, and the alley's been there for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's partial true. The homeowner said they wanted the fence removed, and didn't want to put back up, so they wanted the drive open.
Okay, that's what they told me, but.
Okay, all right.
But now I think they're getting so much activity back there, you know, folks walking by,
Yeah.
and they'd like to have the security back, which I understand that.
The alley's too nice now, huh? Why'd we fix that alley up?
I have one more thing about the alley there we brought up about 5 or 6 months ago too. Mike was going to look into it. The Coffin Burger property, we were going to have something done where they could decide how far they can move their fence back and put a pad back there.
And yes, and there again, Aaron, I met with Tom Blondell, our zoning attorney, last week. That is in the works. I mean, he found a few things through the code that we may not have done, didn't do anything wrong, but may not have done everything that the code specifies. He's dotting i's and crossing t's, but we discussed that last week. So he is working on that. In fact, I gave him some new legal descriptions to get that moving.
Yeah.
So it is in play.
Is there, I mean, there's no way to speed up, because I feel kind of stupid talking to these people, like, yeah, we're going to try to get that straightened out, and then seasons go by, yeah, we're still trying to get that straightened out. I mean, how hard can this be?
Can't we set some kind of limit on that they come up with an answer for us? You know, we need an answer.
I feel like they think that I'm trying to stall them because, you know, I'm going to get you an answer. We're like, come to me, and I'm still going to get you an answer. Shouldn't be too much longer, but it's been at least 6 months now, and we're still talking about the same thing. I mean, I don't know what we can do to speed this up, or.
And Aaron, I really don't know what to tell you other than if you'd like, give them my name and number.
Well, last time you said you were going to talk to them, and then they said you never came over there. I said, Mike never came over. They said no. I said, well, I'll bring it up at the meeting again then.
And Aaron, I don't recall saying I was going to stop by and talk.
Well, we can get the DVD if you think I'm lying, but.
I just don't recall.
Okay, well, let's just get it taken care of. Aaron, give well, let's get it expedited.
Absolutely.
Get it done.
I just feel stupid telling them the same answer for 6 months, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fair.
That's all I had on streets out of the curbs, Mayor.
All right. Nikki, I know you got a long ways to drive. Don't feel like you got to stick around for the rest of our meeting. If you want to get out of here, you go right ahead. I didn't want you to think you had to stick around. That's okay. We just didn't want you to have to.
Thank you very much.
No problem. All right, next would be Finance, Mr. Abbott.
I've got a couple things I need to ask about.
Okay.
Page 9, 1555, 1816 Inc. Do I take this to be the lobbyist?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, my question, I guess for Dell is here, can we actually pay that since this board didn't actually hire a lobbyist?
The lobbyist.
Should we vote on that first to hire one or not to hire one?
Well, the lobbyist was retained by me through the legal department to consult for the issues with the budget session. So that, just like Gerner and Kearns or any other law firm that I've retained, they were retained in the same way.
Okay, is this $6,000 a month?
Yes.
Well, I think this board should get a vote in on that. Is this the same lobbyist like they used to do? Does Dearborn County and Aurora and Greendale share in the cost?
Dearborn County.
This is the same, the one for the last 4 years was Greenbaum, right?
We had the prior administration had two lobbyists. They were both with Greenbaum and Dahl in Indianapolis. And then when we transitioned into the new administration, for me to be able to go and represent the city in a budget session right off the bat with so many important issues, the port and the casino funding being obvious issues that were going to be discussed, there was just no way for me to be able to do that on my own. Kind of like if we have a specialized legal case. There are certain issues, like a First Amendment case, that I just can't do on my own, and that's why the legal department has the ability to retain outside counsel when it's necessary, and I think this was probably the most necessary example you could ever imagine. And so the legal department, and me specifically, made the decision to bring in 1816 Matt Whetstone. He presented at the town hall meeting, and Matt was able to consult with me, guide me through the process, and help me represent the city of Lawrenceburg in the legal issues that we had this budget session. We had incredible success. We got $15 million a year authorized for the port project alone, and we were able to take a potentially devastating casino bill kind of from its early stages to a final version, which we weren't able to kill the bill, but we were able to take out most of the really harmful things, delay some of the other things, and because of that, I thought it was absolutely worth bringing him in.
Isn't that what our senators and our representatives are for? I mean, I don't understand why we have to continue paying this lobbyist $6,000 a month.
Well, and that's exactly what they spoke of. So when Randy Fry, and Senator Perfect came in for the town hall that we hosted here, and Matt Whetstone was here, the county's lobbyist was here, and that's what Randy Fry said. He said, I could never do my job without, the lobbying. And the lobbying wasn't passive. It wasn't just Matt Whetstone. The lobbying was me, the mayor, Mr. Messmore. We were all involved in making sure that our representatives had the information that they needed. So, when these bills are presented, there's a lobbying group that represents the casinos, and they obviously have, certain goals that they want to accomplish, and quite frankly, they've wanted to accomplish for some time, which is to kind of reduce the revenue sharing that host communities like Lawrenceburg get. In order to keep that from happening, I think what we used to experience was, we had a really strong veteran senator in Johnny Nugent. And sometimes just through relationships, you can make progress in Indianapolis. But what we have now is a situation where relationships just aren't enough. And so knowledge is power and knowledge is key. Our job, or my job as city attorney for Lawrenceburg, was to make sure that all the senators, all the representatives, the people in charge of these commissions knew exactly what a great host community we are. And it was, as a brand new city attorney, and I guess as even a veteran city attorney, I don't know how you could do that without a lobbyist. And so that was really the purpose, was to provide a conduit to be able to educate not just our reps, but all of the representatives in Indianapolis as to what we've done with this money, the great, wonderful things that we've used this money for, and the reasons why it shouldn't be reduced or taken away from us. And I couldn't have done that without 1816.
Okay, well,
I'd like to make some comments. Dale, I appreciate your statement there. I've been feeling this pain for probably since last March when he got hired. This stuff was all registered. I can appreciate it. I came to the town hall meeting. And right now, I would vote for this lobbyist. I'm 100% for it because I learned something. However, there's one thing I totally disagree with about this. We're a team here that all got elected, and nobody had any right to do anything. All we asked for was to be educated. That's what we asked for. That's all I'm asking for the next 2.5 years. I want this to work as a team and no other way. And that's how I feel about it. That's why this is on there. So I do think it's right. I would like to take a vote on this. I know how I'm going to vote, but I would feel a whole lot better. Dale, I don't want you making decisions like that on your own. You could have came back in 2 weeks, educated us on the lobby, and we would have probably voted yes. Then we would have made that decision as a team.
Well, what I would like to see is to see us go back to where Dearborn County pays the share, Greendale pays the share, Roy pays the share, and we had one lobbyist up there. That one I mean, it worked for us. We kept our casino money for years and years and years, so. And I know they're coming after it. They have been. Well, now they've got it. We should be good for 4 years, right?
No,
Unless they
that is not true.
Unless they decide to change something.
No, that is not true. Every year, you're battling it, every year. Because they can change it every year.
And I agree with that. They made that comment that day that it's an ongoing daily battle. So,
And what we saw, Tony, believe me, I agree, and that's the first concept that I had was, why don't we, not just Lawrenceburg and the county, why don't all the host communities just have one lobbyist? Why don't we all pitch in and work together? That's how I, kind of naively, when I first started thinking about this, pictured that happening. But what we saw through this process was the city of Lawrenceburg and through our lobbyist with his help, we were actually leading this process really from day one. Dearborn County was present certainly, but it took really us kind of taking the reins and taking charge to get anything accomplished at all. And that's just the way it needed to be to give us a chance at making the progress that we did.
But the same thing could be done if all 4 of us are paying for it, because we're paying them 100 and some thousand a year.
72.
72. It's 6,000.
Times 12. Yep.
Okay, 72,000. That's a lot of money. Why can't we just go together?
I'd be happy to talk to the commissioners if they would like to see us do that, or.
That's the way it was done in the past. I don't see why we.
I think they're the ones that pulled out the last time. I don't know that for a fact, but I'd be happy to talk to them. Happy to.
All right.
That'd be all right if I do that?
well, I mean, could we take a vote tonight to
retain him?
That's my original question. Are we allowed to pay this now, even though this board has not voted on to hire a lobbyist?
Yes.
Okay. I still think we ought to take a vote when it comes up. I would like it, same as Mr. Seymour.
I'd feel this, here's the thing, this is the first time he's been on our voucher. I'd feel better about taking a vote.
First time?
Oh yeah, he's never been listed on our voucher,
Never.
not once.
Brittany, is that true?
Yeah, it is, Brittany. It's always been ran through, now, it might have been in a law firm's billing, but it never has been listed.
I've never seen it on one of these.
We've paid it the exact same way this whole time.
It's a vendor in our
It's been
system.
right under there.
I've never seen that on there, but I'm saying what.
Yeah, we've been paying him for a year now.
Oh, I believe that, I just don't think I've seen it in a voucher.
We can pull those for you if you
Yeah,
guys
we have all the
want to see.
vouchers.
You've got these?
Yes,
what
we keep them.
see,
Yes.
if they're there.
Yeah, they can get them pulled for you. In fact, I'd like for them to, just to.
All righty, well, let's move on. Hopefully later in the meeting, we will vote to hire a lobbyist or not to hire one.
What's that?
So hopefully we'll take a vote later in the old business.
Let's do it now.
Well,
I feel better.
let's do it later in the meeting. Paul?
Page 19, 1633, 500 Festival Inc. Breakfast at the Brickyard, $850.
Yep.
What is that?
That was not paid, right? That was pulled, correct? $850 breakfast at the Brickyard?
It's being held.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a mayor's breakfast, and I thought we had to pay for our table. That is not true. It comes out of Hollywood Casino, so I had him pull the voucher.
Is this at the Brickyard, this Brickyard or the race? So I'm asking. Where is this
Up
at?
in Indianapolis.
Up in Indianapolis,
Yes.
okay.
It's a mayor's breakfast they have every year.
All right, what is the next one right below it? 99.3 Eagle Radio, HS Sports Sponsorship, $500.
It's a sponsorship through the city on the radio.
Okay.
I mean, that's what we do.
All righty.
All right, I look at it and wonder why it doesn't go to our committee, but it's an advertisement maybe?
That's a monthly advertisement fee.
Oh, okay.
That's all the questions.
Okay, anything else down here? All righty. Okay, next would be Parks and Playgrounds, Mr. Seymour Jr.
No, nothing.
Okay. I'd like to say something about the Parks and Playground. I been down and watching my grandson a lot down there at the ball fields anyway, and everybody knows we had the ball fields redone, and our Parks Department has been doing a really nice job of keeping those things looking nice. Nicer than I've seen them in the last 2 years, so I appreciate that. So just wanted to recognize them. So, all right, under fire, Randy Abner.
Okay, we have 7 kindergarten classes going to take their walking tour, stop at the firehouse for their field trip. So Johnny's going to get ready and his crew to entertain the kindergartners. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. I've got a couple that I would like to bring up. I told you about the meeting change. I'd also like to thank everybody that participated in the Groom and Bloom last Saturday up and down Walnut Street and High Street, Main Street, and Pat and Hannah, along with my office, put that together, and we had some Boy Scouts down here, we had community members, we had people that had just moved to town a month ago, just come out and want to help, and I just thanked them all that day, of course, but I just want to publicly thank everybody that had a hand in that, and now that we got them planted, there's no rain in sight probably, but we'll keep them watered until there is some rain, so anyway. And then what I'd like to do at this time, if possible, Logan Lawrence, everybody knows Logan, right? Last weekend it was, right, Logan? Put on a car show, and he's been working on it for months and months and months. And 17-year-old young man, if you know Logan, you know that you didn't have any doubt that he'd be able to do it and put it on. But anyway, he didn't get on the agenda in time, but I want to bring it up during announcements. He wanted to come and thank everybody for their help and their participation.
Yeah,
So.
I just wanted to come up here and thank council and the city of Lawrenceburg for sponsoring the event and also furnishing trash cans and dumpsters for me to use over the weekend. It was a big success, 425 registered cars, and we raised over $15,000 for ALS, and plan on doing it every year, so hopefully I can count on the city.
Somebody asked me if I was going to be annual, and I said, I'm sure it probably will be.
Yep.
Okay.
So I just want to thank everyone.
That was a great job,
Hey, did we do any contributing to that?
The donation committee did.
We did?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sure did.
Okay.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
So
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Committee reports, Fire Chief Johnny Tremaine. All right, Assistant Police Chief David Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. What I would like to propose is a motion. A while back, through internal patrols, we had started an in-departmental inventory. They're not complete with that inventory. I think we're moving forward with the city option. Sorts, and we have a number of things, old office furniture, things of that nature. We have set aside for a auction for things, way smaller, less of perishables that we wouldn't sell at an auction, such as 10 years. Some of this stuff's dating back to the 70s. So just stuff that hasn't been, accounted for, more or less. I mean, as far as the auction passes, we have to, for some reason or another, to let that move that stuff on. So
You have a list of those things, items, right? Okay. So they're just asking for permission to auction those things off whenever that auction does happen to occur, so.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. No problem. Anything else? Okay. EMS Director? Oh, I'm sorry.
I had one thing for David. Back in 2012, you told me you could never wear a purple shirt to a meeting, so I'm proud of you tonight. I didn't forget about it.
Forgot about that.
your bow tie looks well.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, EMS Director Bobby Mills? All right. New business. First item up is, who's going to present? Mr. Jimmy Thomas. Lonnie Mack benefit. Everybody knows Lonnie.
Well, the reason for this event is we're going to try to get Lonnie a nice headstone for his grave. That's the purpose of it.
Okay.
And then if it's a success, we're going to have scholarships on in his name for
high school?
from then on, yes.
Good.
And so what we would like to have is, like to be able to get permission to use the stage, and we're going to need some police help.
Okay.
And maybe, well, we're going to need the portlets. So I guess, I don't know if they take them after the Music on the River on Thursdays or not, or could they stay there, or?
What date you going to do this, Lonnie?
July
Or Jimmy?
15th.
July 15th. They stay, don't they, Pat?
Yes, they stay. The only thing that, like we use them on Thursday night.
They'd have to
and
be-
if there's another event that's going to use them for the next Thursday, we do try to pay. You have to pay them, but they'll come back and clean them.
Okay.
That's the only expense, but otherwise, they'll be there the whole summer long. Just the cleaning expense.
Okay. All right.
So that's just about it. And
Yeah.
and I think we talked about blocking Short Street, but it's not necessary to block.
You don't think you'll have,
No, it'll be more parking and.
Okay.
And just leave it open.
Okay, and the plan is to make it sort of a all-afternoon?
From 1 until 9.
Okay. And you're going to have food and?
Yes, Tim Denning is going to furnish the food, and the beer gardens will be from Brickyard.
Okay. They'll have to have that roped off,
Okay.
and they'll have to apply for their permit and all that, but,
I think.
okay. All right. I think what he's asking from us is to use the lot.
Use the lot, yes,
The restrooms. And
the thing, well, like I say, the police, we have to have police.
Yeah.
Like this.
what I would ask, maybe, what I would ask you to do, because that's usually done on a detail list, what you could do is apply for a grant from the donation committee to help pay for that,
Oh, all right, okay.
if that would. Okay, well, that's not what I was talking about then. All right, well, we'll have to talk about the police, how you're gonna do that, unless you guys have an alternative or a.
Maybe we can get some volunteer policemen to work. I'm sure they.
How big of a venue will we expect?
How many people do you expect, do you think? It's hard to say, isn't it, but
Couple thousand, probably, if not more.
at one time, or do you think
No,
throughout
it's
the
going
day?
Throughout the
Yeah.
day. Throughout the
Okay.
day.
200-300 at a time, and they're back and forth?
Yeah, I can talk to you about that.
Okay, all right.
Appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
One other question I have is, with that stage, what about insurance? Who's responsible? Are we responsible for that, Dale, or can we be, or?
It seems like what they're asking for is just everything that we provide generally with Music on the River, and that would include, the fact that they need to apply for excise for the temporary alcohol permit and the insurance and the stage and everything, and also the reserve officers. So maybe that would be an easier vote, just to, approve the same services that are used at a typical Music on the River. And that way everything would be covered. But this event is all just Doug and Jimmy. They're using Archery Gang 501(c), but
ASG.
I don't know. I don't think they have any funding or anything like that for it.
Right.
So, Mario.
They'll have to be added to the A&E list also. I don't know, Pat, do you submit that?
Yeah, we submit A&E, and it's submitted for the whole Music on the River series. They come down and check the stage and the tenting and everything all year. So I don't know if because it's another group using it, if they need to file or not. I'm not aware of that. Typically, A&E is just to monitor the stage and the tent over it.
What we try to do is lump everybody together. I mean, just add them to your list.
Add this to, okay.
Might be easier, Tony, to ask Pat to do it since he never says no to us.
That's right.
Pat has plenty of time, right?
Right.
Just said yes again, didn't she?
Right.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion. Anybody wants to make one?
I'll move that we allow the Lonnie Mac Festival to proceed at the Music on the River lot with all the services that we provide at Music on the River.
Okay, about a second.
I'll second his motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Very much.
Good luck on it.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Okay, the next item is Mr. Weldon, Linkmeyer decision.
Yes, sir, Your Honor, thank you. And this is a formal follow-up from the confidential executive session that we held on pending litigation. What I would ask for today from council is a vote that, and I'll just read what our attorneys have drafted here. The vote would be, the city attorney is authorized to demand that the Linkmeyer Group return the 17.7 acres located behind the current Kroger to the city as a condition of further negotiations to resolve the outstanding default by Linkmeyer Group on their $3 million loan to the city. And so what is contemplated and what we discussed is just authorization to make the return of that property on the front end a condition, a solid condition of any proposed settlement agreement.
So that's all it is, just, we're asking for that back just as a condition to continue with negotiations?
Yes, it's got to be done up front
Okay.
so we can protect it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to make that clear too. This is not the settlement.
Yes, sir.
No.
Correct.
No. We want to protect the 17.7 acres.
Right.
So I'll entertain a motion to do as the attorneys have requested as read.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next item, Mr. Weldon, is Davis decision.
Thank you, Your Honor. Similar, this was a confidential legal discussion at the executive session. I would just ask for a vote this evening to either accept the proposed terms, or reject those proposed terms and allow the city attorneys, Doug Garner and Will Ash, to proceed as they recommended at the executive session.
So the motion on the floor is to accept the proposal made by Mr. Davis.
Yes, Your Honor, or reject the proposal and proceed as recommended by
attorneys.
The attorneys.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to reject.
Okay, and to proceed.
To proceed, as our attorneys say.
Okay, second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain. Roll call, please.
Member Tony Abbott?
Aye.
Member Aaron Cook?
Aye.
Member Mel Davis?
Abstain.
Member Randy Abner?
Aye.
Member Paul Seymour Jr.?
Aye.
Okay, motion will carry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
401. Okay, the next item is Civic Park Architect decision. I believe this was passed on to us from redevelopment. Their vote was, I believe it was unanimous,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Chairman?
Yes, it was.
Okay, that Strand and Associates would be retained as the architect of record for the Civic Park. So I'll entertain a motion to either accept that recommendation or deny.
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
I got a question.
Okay.
Right now, we're only getting into the design phase, right? I mean, this is what we're doing. Because there's one thing that I would, I mean, for my vote to move forward on this, I do not want to move one single piece of dirt until we've got property owned by us. So I'm willing to say yes to this and yes to the design, but I'm not willing to move forward with construction under those terms. So my question is it safe for me to say yes for this right now?
Well, and I think Tony's in the audience, but from projects I've been involved with in the past before my life here, you got to have design documents, you have the whole design process, then design documents, and then construction documents, that kind of thing. By that time, if we don't own that property, Paul, shame on us.
Okay.
We have to design it and figure out exactly what we want in it.
Yeah.
I don't want to slow it down, but yet I want to make it clear that I just want my tool to push to buy this property. I don't want to be sitting on it a year from now. I want it to be a focus.
Don't we own the 2 parking lots that the Civic Park will be on?
Yes, he's talking about I think
they're 2 separate projects.
Development. Yeah.
I will not vote to do the Civic Park as long as those 2 buildings are sitting there. I don't want a nice park with those buildings sitting
Mr.
there.
Seymour, we're working very hard to get them.
All right.
We've got one agreement, and we're soon to have the second agreement.
All right, the motion on the floor is to proceed with the Strand and Associates as the architect.
Moved.
Okay, second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry. Thank you very much for your help, Tony. Okay, this one is related to the pool, and I met with Miss Abbott, and she had some concerns, and I said I'd bring it up before you guys tonight. In the past, I guess we've allowed people to bring coolers in, and there's been some issues with bringing some alcohol and things like that, and so she, and I agree, not sure how you guys feel, but agree that there should be a no cooler policy
I'm not voting.
at the pool.
I agree.
So,
I'm not against you, but I won't vote against her.
Good.
you dog. But anyway, I mean, it's open for discussion, or I'll entertain a motion.
She's right there.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah. Just like your husband, aren't you? Yeah.
Just one of the things I wanted to add to it too is along with the coolers is no food and drinks, because people do like to bring in their own cups, and inside of those cups are full of alcohol and stuff. If we stop that, and it'll also help our concession sales. Our concession sales have progressively gone way, 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 way down. And I mean, we're the only pool around that allows people to bring in coolers, food, and drinks. No one else does. We do have a park behind us. If people want to bring in packed picnics, there's plenty of places that they can take it to and eat and drink out there.
Sure, I agree.
Thank you.
So I'll entertain a motion to proceed with a no cooler policy at the swimming pool, along with no food or drink to be brought in as well.
Moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, and then in front of you, you got the donation committee recommendations for April. There were no requests, as you requested. You wanted to know if anybody got turned down. Nobody was turned down this past month. So at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve those recommendations.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Next item is Mr. Talker's, the sports complex presentation. And this is just information only tonight to inform you guys where they're at in the process. No vote, nothing going on.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Talkers with Land Consultants. We're the civil engineer for the project down in Lawrenceburg. It's the first time we brought it to City Council. We've been to LCD, we've been to the Redevelopment Commission. I started work with these fellows years ago. These guys are from Town and Country in Wilder, Kentucky, if you're familiar with that, along 275. I was one of the designers and a partner in that in 1998, and these guys have taken it from then and brought it forward now, and we've kind of come to a conclusion that Lawrenceburg would be a great site for another Town and Country sports facility. So they've gotten the Abden property under contract, and in your packet you'll see a color version of the property and what we're talking about. So the proposal, and I'll let these guys speak as well on the business side of it, is there's a 4-acre parcel in the center. We're requesting a 2.3-acre parcel from the city and eventually a 1.2-acre parcel from LCD. It does incorporate the 4-H horse fence area that we would relocate to another place on the fairgrounds property. That's in green on that drawing. And then the LCD building is in yellow below, just for reference. I'll let Jay Kapinga and JT Roberts from Town and Country and Evo Sports talk about the specifics of it. But basically this is a large air-inflated structure with a separate hard building in front of it. That would be the support services, leasable space, hopefully the Dearborn County Hospital, Mike Schwebler's here from them. And then you would actually go through an airlock part of the building to get into the inflatable structure, which would be 240 by 430, almost 80 feet tall, and be the only type of facility in the region other than UC's inflatable structure. So if you guys would like to speak.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for allowing me to talk for a second. Again, my name's JT Roberts. I'm with Town and Country Sports Complex in Wilder, Kentucky. I'm president. Been there since 1997. That facility in Wilder is 100,000 square feet. We've expanded over the years and learned some of the do's and don'ts in the sports industry. What we're planning on doing and would like to do is bring that concept to Lawrenceburg. So it's a little over 100,000 square foot indoor multi-sport facility. And as Jeff mentioned, a large portion of that is the turf. That would be multifunctional with the ability to have sport court, which is a multi-surface court laid over the top of it so that you could do basketball, volleyball tournaments, things along those lines as well. And then also having basketball courts and volleyball courts in there. The front of that, which is a brick and mortar structure, would be the entryway for concession, offices, things along those lines, along with our recent partner, Dearborn County, will be a tenant for sports med and PT clinic in there as well, which would go hand in hand with our overall concept of sports, wellness, and fitness and activities. One of the things that we've identified out of this location and this concept is we would like to make this a sports destination area. And we've seen this in multiple fashions with the soccer club that we manage that's built a 13-field facility in Batavia, and Claremont County has raved about the economic impact there, or our volleyball club that now plays under our new facility in Wilder, TC Athletic Club, that has 7 volleyball courts. And what we're seeing now, and the culture has changed, is that moms and dads and kids are traveling to these large-scale events and playing their games under one roof. And so that's the kind of the concept that we've identified here. We estimate that the annual visit will be right around 500,000. We're taking those numbers from the past history of Town and Country and modeling that after some of the things that we already do. Rough estimate on the economic impact of that, if you just take 500,000 times 10, which we believe is very, very conservative, $10, it's $5 million of economic impact in a year. And I'm sure a lot of you have kids or grandkids and have been to sporting events before. Spending $10 at a sporting event is, you're getting off pretty cheap. So we're talking about a few levels of participation and play within the facility. From the community aspect, we're talking about league play. Well aware of some of the competitors on the west side of Cincinnati, River's Edge, Soccer City, and familiar with a lot of households that are driving by this area and leaving and going into Ohio. A lot of them come to our facility as well. So we feel we can impact the community with league play. We know we can impact the community with tournament play. There's a need for it. There's a need for it at one facility under roof, and this would give us that ability. Some other opportunities, we feel that will bring 20 to 30 part-time, full-time jobs to the area. Our plan is to hire within the community. That's what we do in Wilder and Taylor Mill and Independence and Fort Thomas, so we hire within. Our management team would oversee responsibility of the facility. Myself, my general manager, and the director of sports operations. Huge opportunity for health and wellness and a connection through Dearborn's relationship with the community. And from the fitness, just from the sheer education standpoint. I talked about the economic impact. And then one of the things that we're extremely excited about is, hopefully, if we can do this, the potential for growth. Talking with the LCD and talking with the mayor about, is there opportunity to look at that facility and turn this into a large-scale destination sports facility via soccer, football, baseball, whatever it is. But we have the indoor facility, and then can we partner with LCD, City of Lawrenceburg, maybe even bring in Greendale to utilize those surrounding green spaces to make this a one-stop shop. One of the things, another thing that we're excited about, and we just had a meeting with Michael Schwebler from Dearborn County, is the seamless partnership. Town and Country's facility in Wilder has a partnership, a medical partnership with St. Elizabeth Hospital, and it's been a tremendous on both sides. We piggyback on community events, so we get out in the community using our athletes to get out in the community. They're engaged, they're talking with other younger kids, and so we're talking about wellness, eating right, not doing drugs, staying healthy, things along those lines. And then we're also, one of the things that we also do is sports prevention programs. Athletes coming in, going hot and heavy, get hurt. We have a seamless partner here with our medical provider. They're seeing the medical provider's educating our coaches and our staff, so hopefully once that athlete's back on the field, they're not coming back to see us again. We want to make this a must-play facility. There's only a handful of them really in the region, and they work well. So we want to make this a must-play. Our strategic partnership, our planning opportunities is league play, tournaments, going after them. We've done a demographic study on travel, how far folks are willing to travel. League play, like I talked about, is the community-based, but where we really want to go is the tournament play, where we're bringing people in from the region who are staying at hotels, eating at restaurants, filling up at gas stations, and enjoying everything that Lawrenceburg has to offer. In closing, one of the things that, I don't even have it here. One of the things that we've talked with the mayor a little bit about, and the reason why these two parcels are is something that we're asking for, is it's the ability to grow. It provides flexibility. I think it serves a couple of needs. One, obviously from the parking standpoint, allows our partner, Dearborn County Hospital, to have adequate space with the potential to grow, and to have visibility on US 50 right there. So some of our asks are the additional land, parcels B and C, that are identified on the drawing. Infrastructure development cost to assist with bringing the necessary infrastructure to our facility. Mr. Talker's talked about the relocation of 4-H, keeping that on site, but relocating that so we can utilize that for additional parking, not only for our location, but for additional events that go on this complex, whether it be the antique show or fairgrounds or something along those lines. What's my train of thought here? The percentage of overall construction cost is an ask that we're looking for, and then the opportunity to capitalize on any funding or incentives that we can through the city, the state, or the county with that.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Michael Schwebler, President and CEO of Dearborn County Hospital, and thanks for hearing us out. As some of you know, the hospital just recently published its new 3-year strategic plan, and as part of that plan, one of the key pillars, of which there are 6, is community wellness. Probably a lot of you know that the state of Indiana ranks 41st among the 50 states from a wellness perspective, and that's not something to be proud of. That's something that we need to work on. The parameters for that rating are obesity, smoking, the presence of diabetes, infant mortality, substance abuse, and just general things that are related to overall wellness. And so the strategy at Dearborn County Hospital is that we really need to up our game and get out in the community through outreach and through programming, especially with our young folks, to teach them and educate them, as JT said, about how to make healthy choices and how to live healthy lifestyles. And not that we're abandoning the 18 and older group, of which most of us are here. But anyway, you know, that important mission that links to the hospital is something that we believe programming like what Jeff Talkers and the Town and Country folks are proposing fits really well into our strategy. We're proposing to put up to 6,000 square feet of programming in that building in the way of physical therapy, occupational therapy. We are actually actively recruiting a physician who would be a family practice doc with a subspecialty in sports medicine that we would have there in the facility. And as athletes and anyone who has orthopedic or musculoskeletal issues that would benefit from an environment where they can be active and exercise, we will be able to see those patients there, treat those patients there. We're excited about having a presence on Route 50 where we would have more exposure to the public as they move back and forth, because we need to get down off the hill and down into the community. So those are all kind of reasons why we're excited about the programming. We would really like to see the project go forward because we want to be a participant in it, and we think it can bring great benefits to the community, help us with our outreach strategy. So thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Anything else from you guys? Any questions quickly from up here? I mean, this was sort of a presentation tonight to where they are currently. Yes, sir?
Question. Assuming that everything falls into place, what is the anticipated time of construction?
Construction, I'll work backwards. We'd like to open September, October of 2018. So probably February, March timeframe, somewhere in there, miss the winter, and get things going right around that time. So,
thank you.
Any other questions?
What's a blend?
Mayor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm Randy Tyler. I'm a member of the Conservancy District Board. Just a couple questions, and you probably already answered a couple. But I was not sure, and we'll probably discuss this at our board meeting Thursday evening, but I didn't know if the parking space that they're requesting from us is going to be a public parking area or a private parking area. And if you're saying that you're going to be allowing the antique mall or the antique flea market and other events there will be able to use that, then it will be a public parking area. Okay. I'm actually here also as a brother-in-law to the co-chair of the Horse and Pony group at 4-H. And when talking to them, one of the things they were concerned about is their show is the June 22nd of this year. Sounds like we won't have to worry about that. Because they put an awful lot of time and effort and money into the building of the new announcer stage and things, and this will take that away. One of the things they were concerned about is they've ordered 43 tons of sand to be delivered Thursday, I believe, and they were unsure of whether or not to do that as part of their program.
The 4-H fair, 4-H president contacted me, and I said there was nothing going to happen this year, that everything should be fine.
Well, then, well, if nothing happens with the construction, I think they're okay. But she just wanted to know if it was, a good idea for them to put that much money into the surface of the arena area, because it actually is ordered. Maybe he doesn't know about that, but she just told me yesterday that it is.
Randy, can't that be salvaged and moved?
I don't know. Who's going to be responsible for that? So.
Well, I think if the part of the project is for them to move and relocate that arena if the project goes through. So they would need, it would be relocated and in the same shape as what they take away. I mean, that would be the agreement.
And that's fine. I don't know if you have an idea where that location will be yet. Have you looked at that?
I think we've let 4-H decide.
The one thing she did state, though, is that base that they have in the arena takes years to create that base. So that's what they're hoping they can get in return. I don't know how that will be done, but that was one of their main concerns. So
legitimate questions.
I'll tell her that no problem with the shows this year, of course, and I'm sure you'll be working with the 4-H to guarantee that they'll get a good location.
Of course.
That's fine.
No problem, Randy.
All right.
Thanks.
I'd like to add to Randy a little bit, as a councilman and as being on the board, or not on the board, but superintendent over there. I think at some point, you guys, when you approach the council and instead of just for information only, once there's been a decision made, I think they're going to want another presentation themselves with detailed information. I think I talked to the board members, and I'm glad Randy came tonight, but most of them were, hey, I'd rather them come to our meeting. So.
About the LCD or 4-H?
LCD.
Okay, got you. I'm sure no problem.
Yeah.
I'm not speaking to them. Any other questions, guys? Thanks so much.
The only other thing, I guess we forgot to mention, the project cost is roughly $10 million. So it's a significant investment into Lawrenceburg. That's not casino related.
That's true. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. All right, next item is Mr. Weldon, public records request.
Thank you, Your Honor. I wanted to just take a few minutes to touch base on the public records request policy that has been enacted by the Clerk Treasurer's Office and kind of carried through. And just to give you an idea, in 2016, we had 57 public records requests that were submitted to the Clerk Treasurer's Office. The Clerk Treasurer's Office came in, along with all you guys as new administration, but I think particularly had a lot of things that they wanted to implement and wanted to change in order to just be as compliant as possible with State Board of Accounts and Indiana law, and they've just done wonders. That office is incredible, and the progress that they've made and the things that they've accomplished have been amazing. And just to touch on this specifically, because we don't talk enough about what a good job they're doing across the street. So the public records request policy just didn't exist at all when we took office in 2016. We had to build it from the ground up and create a policy that enabled us to track these public records requests, fulfill these public records requests, and make sure that we kind of carried out the goal of the administration as being a very transparent one, a very service-oriented one, and one that really kind of conforms to the needs of our citizens. And they've done a great job. Like I said, 2016, we had 57 public records requests. Those requests were all handled individually, handled appropriately, and handled very well. We've had a lot of interaction with the Indiana Public Access Counselor, who is a gentleman called Luke Brett. He was appointed by Governor Pence and carried over with Governor Holcomb to kind of take on the charge of determining what is public records and what are public records and what is public and what's not public in conjunction with the Indiana Archives. And I can tell you what we do at the Clerk Treasurer's Office is we kind of carry out their mandate, which is to err on the side of disclosure and transparency. And a lot of these public records requests will turn around in just a couple hours. We had one last week where Diane Hyde took it in. We have a lot of forms and things that we've created to track these and fulfill these in the best way. Diane Hyde sent me over the request. I told her that it looked good on its face to gather the information that they requested. She did that, sent it back to me. I reviewed all the items in there and kind of gave it a thumbs up, and we kicked it back out that very day. The reason that I'm involved, or that I need to be involved, is because the only thing we can't do is kind of disclose something that we wouldn't be allowed to disclose. And just a couple examples of that. One is text messages. Text messages are just a kind of a general public record. Our employees have phones that are provided by the city. So the Public Access Counselor, has a position that text messages are public records. But the Public Access Counselor and the Indiana Archives have also acknowledged, and we've worked really closely with them, because as a practical matter, how do you keep those? How do you store all those? The technology just doesn't exist. So if you ask the Public Access Counselor, is a text message a public record? Of course, yes it is, because it's on our public employees, City of Lawrenceburg phones. So it's a public record. The problem is, as a practical matter, do we buy a $10 million and I'm glad that Assistant Chief Schneider's here, because in my experience with criminal law, that's a difficult thing to track text messages and to keep those and store those. Again, we want to maintain an ultimate level of transparency, but there are practical matters in place. So that's kind of been a work in progress. That's something that we're working on, and we're going to roll out very shortly kind of an answer, a way to deal with that. With those limitations, and it's a good example of the way we handle all of these issues. We get something in, we think, wow, how do we handle this? So legal gets involved. I research all the statutes and related to open door law and public records in general, and then we look at what the Public Access Counselor has said, and then we make a decision. Same with legal invoices. So legal invoices have been requested, not just the, what we pay our legal department and our lawyers, but actually the things that are written down. So when I do work for the city, whether it's for Mike and Mario or for Mr. Messmore or for Tyler at the Clerk Treasurer's Office or for Owen with LMU or Chief Combs or whoever, I write down met with Chief Combs, worked on whatever I worked on. And that's what I submit. Then I say how long it took. And then, you know, our ordinance pays the city attorney $200 an hour, so however long it took, and times that, and then I submit it in just like everybody else does, and that's how, you know, I get paid. The invoices themselves, as an attorney, are what I would consider to be very private. You know, if I have a private attorney, if any of you guys hired me to do something for you outside of what we do here, then not only can I not give someone else, you know, the bills I do for you, I can't even tell them I represent you. Even the fact of representation is confidential. But that is obviously juxtaposed against the fact that I represent a municipality, I represent a city, and that's obviously everyone, you know, in the city. And so what we've done is we've worked really closely again with the state statutes that are written by our government to control that, the opinions with the Luke Britt, the public access counselor. I've talked to him personally many times. And then work closely with Tyler's office to implement what we think is the best way to respond to that. Those are just two examples of public records requests that we get. Again, we got 57 in 2016. But I did want to address it. You know, it's something that's been discussed a little bit. The way that Tyler Rainey and his staff have handled this is just not to give you guys kind of average service or the rock bottom service, but really just the Cadillac of service. And the program that they put in place is really something that I've personally observed to be exactly the way that Tyler deals with every scenario, which is to do the absolute most and the absolute best. It's very important to him. And I can say that that's the case across the board with everyone that I represent as part of my duties as the city attorney for Lawrenceburg. So I wanted to bring that up, and obviously open that up to any discussion with you guys in those regards, or just generally with public records.
Okay. Yes, sir?
I got a question. Dale, I don't need to see conversations, and I don't know, you know, I know there's a problem, I know it's an issue, so I'm one more to say, hey, how we solve it. My question to you is when you turn in your bills, are they too detailed? Couldn't you just turn in a bill that says, I worked on the Linkmar case, point whatever? Have a chart of everything you got going, and when you turn your bills in every month, that way, the only thing we really know is hey, I worked on this for 6 hours or 36 hours. I don't want to pick on lawyers. Do we make anybody else that turns in the bills be itemized to the point to where we know the confidential stuff? In other words, couldn't we give something to the clerk treasurer that we could turn over, problem solved? It's just a question.
No, absolutely, and I think that's very fair, and what I do is I do submit incredibly detailed bills because, you know, I'm in a position where, you know, my job is amazing and I love my job and I'm really proud to work with you guys, but it's hard because I don't have a committee report every twice a month. You know, I don't get to, you know, tell you guys all the things that I do because a lot of it is confidential, you know, legal work. But I also recognize that I want to give you guys value. I don't want you to pay without getting back, you know, more than what you're paying for. And that's why I work so hard, and that's why I think I do those detailed bills, because my job is to maximize every penny that leaves this city and make sure that the return from the legal services standpoint is as good as it can be, you know, an excellent level. So I think that's fair. You know, I do, you guys all obviously can look at my bills, and as far as whether or not, you know, they can be released to the public, you know, we can find a way to do that and make that happen and still protect confidentiality. I think that's, you know, a fair way to look at it. And again, we want to err on the side of transparency. We want to err on the side of making sure everybody knows what we do here, because we're all very proud of what we do, and we should be.
I mean, we got handed a ton of legal issues. And at the end of the year, shouldn't we have the report that says, hey, we got 380 man-hours in this case, guys. How much longer are we going, when are we going to get them in here and settle this? I guess that's all I'm asking. I don't need to know every hour what you're doing. I don't want to be, I'm aggravated that we even have all this, but we have it and we have to deal with it. I'm just asking, is there any way to simplify what you turn in, but, maybe have your other stuff for an executive session if we ever need it? That's all I'm asking.
I think it's very fair, and this is my first time representing the city. I do my billing kind of the way I did it when I was in private practice, but, I actually want people to see, how hard I'm working, especially you guys. I want you to know when you got a dollar going out, it's for this purpose, and it's achieving a purpose, and it's going to good use. Again, I'm kind of the only one that sits in here that doesn't get to do that, and so I don't get to really talk as much about what I do as I'd like to, and I want to make sure that everything I do has a great value, and that you guys know what I'm doing. So that is something worth discussing, and again, you guys are always, as councilman, always able to look at my itemized billing and talk to me, and I'm in the process of working on a way to make those bills available without revealing confidentiality, and I think that's positive, and we can, it's a good question, I think we can do that.
Any other questions? Good.
No, I have a comment, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
I too would like to compliment the clerk treasurer's office. I've gone in there and asked for a couple of things, not under public records requests, but just some informational pieces, and they've always been prompt, courteous, friendly. I think those ladies and Tyler do a great job of it, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm sure they thank you. Anybody else? If not, we'll go on to old business.
Yeah, I have one thing under new business. It's kind of,
yes, sir.
It just happened this week, so I didn't have time to get on the agenda. I'm not exactly sure of the situation, but I guess the garbage truck knocked over a brick pillar at 118 West Tate. And the lady's been calling around different people in the departments, and they're going to say they're going to fix it. They're going to fix it. It's relaying some brick. I don't think it should be that hard, but she's wondering when it's really going to be done.
She hadn't called my office.
Okay.
That would be, I guess, parts of my home.
Yeah.
Mario's been calling.
Yeah.
I'm not done with calling, but we have a contractor that's going to replace it.
Okay. She said she last talked to Brad, and he said they'd get right on it. I don't know how long ago that's been, but I told her I had a meeting tonight, and that I'd bring it up tonight. So, how long do you think? So I can just call her tomorrow and tell her. Or do you want me to have her call you?
Yeah, you can have her call me. Soon.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, guys?
That's all I have on there.
Under old business, Mr. Weldon, John Johnson III, perf.
Thank you, Your Honor. This issue came up when we paid similar perf benefits for Lawrenceburg Municipal Utilities employee, and essentially this occurred during a time where Mr. Johnson, who is now under union employment, was operating under a non-union contract. Similar to the LMU employee, he had racked up over 1,000 hours in a year, and it was brought to my attention that, and the clerk treasurer's attention, that these were similar incidents, and we've already voted to pay the perf benefits for the LMU employee that went over 1,000 hours, and so Suzanne Orndorff was able to calculate the same amount of perf for Mr. Johnson, and today I'll just ask for a vote from council to approve paying those perf benefits for Mr. Johnson for the time he went over 1,000 hours for the year.
So can I ask a request and a comment? Sure. Is there any way that we can ever keep this from happening again? I would love for the city of Lawrenceburg, when they hire an employee, that they have to go through an interview, an application process, and the whole amount. Now, I don't have anything against these two fellas, but is there anybody else? Is
it's a problem. It opens a door, and if there's any way that we can close it, I personally do not think the city of Lawrenceburg, with as good a job as it is, that every job that we do in this city should be advertised, it should be applied for, they should go through interviews, and it should be open to the public for anybody to get this job. So I would like to close the door. If we can keep something like this from ever happening again, I would like to do it.
Well, let's speak with some facts here.
Okay.
This has been going on, this happened many years ago.
I know.
Couple of employees were working, and they surpassed the amount of time that they were, before they should have been allowed to get in the union.
Right.
And it just so happens that we cleaned those two items up this year. But I agree with what you're saying. I think it's just a matter, it's a detail to attention to detail.
Right.
And I think, or lack of.
Is there anything that we can do, could our lawyer research to where we can keep this from happening again? I just don't agree with it.
Yeah, go ahead, Owen.
I think what there are, Paul, the way these two gentlemen were hired at first, they were hired as part-time employees. The federal guidelines for part-time employees is pretty clear. You can work them for up to a 90-day period of time, and after that, you've got to lay them off for a period of time before you can resume work with them again. If you work them past that, they are in effect not temporary employees, and you are under some obligation to employ them full-time. So I think the best thing for us to do as an organization is just be cognizant of the employment laws, the regulations, and I think that we're working to get to that point and make sure that we, as managers and other department heads, are adhering to that. And again, I think this is evidence that we want to do things correctly, that we want to right wrongs where we have made mistakes, and I applaud the city, the Utility Service Board, for supporting us in this effort, because when I spoke with the people at PERF, they made me aware that, now that we know about this, if they had discovered this on their own, they would have compelled us to pay into these two employees' pensions. It wouldn't have been a choice, and both boards on their own cognizance decided to do that, which I think shows that we want to fix things. But had they discovered it through some other process, we would have been compelled to do it. So we're adhering to the law, and I think we just need to, like I said, just be cognizant of those things and continue to do the right things.
But what about the next administration? What about the next administration hiring part-time people just because they want to bring them in, and then they keep them too long? And here's the thing, I called...
And make them abide by the law.
We can say no more part-time people.
Yeah.
Now, but my question is, I called Johnny. I asked him because I felt like that I knew the situation. So I'm glad this is happening. I'm going to vote yes for it. All I'm saying is I just really, if there's any way at all to I don't want the proper procedure avoided. Mm-hmm. I want everybody in this town and county to have an opportunity at any job that this city has to offer. And in certain situations, it doesn't happen that way. So if you could just look into it and let us know, I'd like to know sometime if we can or can't, and I do realize we can't control what goes on in the next administration. However, if we could do something, I'd sure appreciate it.
Well, and I think, and that's the short answer, the tonight answer is this wouldn't happen under administration. We have safeguards in place that would keep this from happening. This is tying up a loose end from a prior administration, but that's how you solve problems like this, with due diligence and just paying attention every day to the details.
And I would point out too, there is a necessary role for part-time. We've got some firefighters that are part-time. We've got other individuals that come into the city that are part-time, and you don't want to put the city in a position to not have access to those types of employees and be forced to have people full-time. I mean, the decision at that point is to go short-staffed.
It's a good question, Johnny. How do you avoid having your part-time firefighters not us have to hire them full-time?
Couple of things. They're not allowed to work over 30 hours a week. Second thing is they don't work 90 they don't work consecutive days. With that in mind, they'll work 24 hours a week, so they're going to have a break in their service. That's how it.
All right. Okay. I believe you was looking for a second.
Yes, sir.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Who made the motion?
Mel made a motion. That too will pass then. Thank you. The last item under old business I have is Mr. Weldon on 1816.
Thank you, Your Honor. What I'm passing out to council right now is the 2017 legislative session recap. This is a recap of the legislation that was became relevant during the course of this year's budget session. Last year's session was what's called a short session, and this year was a long session, a budget session. And during the preliminary analysis of what may or may not be put before us as a city of Lawrenceburg in terms of the things that are important to us, obviously we are able to identify very early on the two most important issues, which are the casino, which will always be our most important issue, and the incoming port project. Again, through my representation of the city, I knew that I could not do that on my own, and I retained the services of 1816. I definitely respect and honor the discussion we've had tonight. If the council was to determine that you wanted to vote to prevent me from continuing to engage Mr. Whetstone, obviously I honor that, but I would ask that you allow me to keep him employed. I think he's a wonderful asset. He is by far the best lobbyist of all the lobbyists, and the things that we were able to accomplish as a city and for the city with him, we wouldn't have been able to do without his help. So that's a request I would make, but however it pleases the council, I'll act accordingly.
I would like to make a vote, and I'd start it off by making a motion.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that Mr. Weldon keeps Mr. Whetstone in 1816. I'm voting yes to let him continue on through the year.
If that's a motion, I'll second it.
All right.
And then I have a question after we vote.
Yes, sir. After we vote?
Yes.
Okay.
Before I vote, I would like to say that, or ask that, like you said before, you will look into sharing the cost.
I got it in my notes to go with, talk to the commissioners, and I'll start there.
And something else we talked about at the town hall, he was gonna come in and greet us, or...
Oh, yeah.
And you guys were gonna do, what, twice a year, probably?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion will carry. Thank you. I think it's a good investment.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Is there a test on this next month?
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's a test. All right, at this point, we'll entertain comments.
I got one more thing.
I'm sorry.
My thing is kind of a combination utility and council. I've been waiting long enough. I want to give the people of Lawrenceburg a reward every year. I'd like for it to happen in early December. I'm going to put a $200 out there, and I would like the utility to monitor this. I would like it to be reimbursed by the boat revenue money, and I want it to be in the amount of $200 to the citizens of Lawrenceburg that are in good standings with the utility company throughout the year. I've just been waiting and it hasn't happened, so I want to know how everybody feels about it. It's that time of year, I don't want to get biased.
Well, it's something we'd have to budget for anyway, so I mean, we do need to know at this point.
Can we appropriate this year? Can it happen this year? That's another question I had.
Well, first thing, you need to find out how much we would need to appropriate. And second is, you said this in the beginning, it was only the ones in good standing that have never been late. What about those people out there working hard and have been late once or twice a month? they don't get that $200?
Approach it different.
Tony, what we have is customers that are, what we call in good standing. So customers who don't currently owe the utility money, who aren't currently on a repayment plan to the utility, customers who, we understand customers struggle. That's not the ones we're looking at excluding. It's the ones that, for example, we have a number of customers during the moratorium who will literally not make another payment to the utility. And when it comes time for the moratorium to end, they just close up and leave. And they'll pop up somewhere else in town under a relative's name or something like this. Those are the kinds of people that I don't think deserve the $200. They know the system, they know it as well as anybody, and they work the system to their benefit and to the demise of the ratepayers. So those are the kinds of people that we're talking about, not people who are hardshiped on occasion, because everybody experiences that. So if we have roughly 2,700 customers, residential customers, at $200 a pop, that's $500,000, $540,000.
Dale, I'm thinking here, if that benefits anybody up here, would we be able to vote on that?
No.
So how are we gonna vote on it? 'Cause I think everybody up here would.
Well, I'll tell you right now,
On my 10% from
I'm
my
gonna vote
house.
and just don't give me the money.
What's that?
All of us can refuse to take the money, now we can all vote. So we just solved that.
I've got a comment before we adjourn. I believe that we just passed a rate increase. I think I remember that. If we turn around, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do, but if we turn around and give back $500,000, how can we justify the rate increase?
Because we're not giving it out of the utilities, we're taking it out of us.
What?
We're not giving it from the utilities money. It's not utilities money.
Who's giving it?
It's coming out of Riverboat.
Can we do this for, I mean, because we can talk about this all night. I think we need some numbers and put from this. You agree with me, Paul?
As long as it's by the next meeting.
Well, it won't be by June 1st, but can we do it by the second meeting in June?
That'll work. The next meeting after that'll be fine.
Okay.
All right.
I think.
Can we work on that on? A couple questions. Just an idea. I need to know how you would like, what month you would like me to look at. Are you wanting me to look at an averaged month over the course of the year? Average. So average kilowatt hour sales over the course of the year, pick the highest month out of the year. What I would like to know is, okay, how many, what's the maximum output that we're going to put out if everybody in Lawrenceburg is in good standing? That's what I'm going to want to know. I don't know what else anybody else wants to know. I want to know what the maximum amount of output in dollars would cost us if it was a $200 program.
That'd be about $1 million, wouldn't it?
Well, the ceiling, if you looked at the actual residential revenues, the ceiling, so the highest point of revenue, which would have been January, February, was about $290,000 for the month on just the residential customers, which is about $107 roughly per customer. The lowest would have been 170. We have about 2,700 residential customers. 2,702, exactly. Okay, we misspoke then when we did the math. Well, when I did the math earlier, Paul had used a number of $200. $200. That's $514,000. So if I used actual numbers, that 290,000 divided by 2,700, I believe, is about 107,000. Someone can check my math. You're right. So that's an actual number. Well, and nobody, it doesn't, maybe it's not 200. Maybe it's something else, okay? But I think we need to know, we need to have something to look at, if that makes sense. I mean, I would need something to look at. But also, we'd have to research if there's a legal way we can do it.
That was my next question. Can we legally do it? Because I know there's problems like that in the past.
I think there's been discussion in the past about even property taxes.
And you couldn't legally do it.
You couldn't do it, or, so I think that's another part we need to research. And if there is a way, then, Paul, I mean, we budget it in and we make it happen.
Well, I've been sitting around here for 20 years, and we do an awful lot of stuff, and there's an awful lot of stuff that has been done for the people. I'm in no way am I suggesting that this town hadn't stepped up to the plate for its citizens. but we have never directly, ever tried to put a cent in any of the, there's a lot of old people that a $200 reward that, in December or sometime would go a long way for them. And we have got the money to do that over a 20-year period. I think it's about time we start thinking a little bit in that direction.
Like I said, we'll have to research the legalese about it, but maybe it's in the form of a credit rather than just a check. A credit on their account. That's the same thing.
I do not want to put a burden on utilities because I agree with Mel. How do we?
Well, we might be able to move money to you.
Credit. Seem to look on Mel.
All I ask is it's came up before, and it needs. Hey, and here's the thing: if y'all want to vote no on it tonight, then I'll shut up about it. But I'm not going to be quiet until something happens one way or the other.
All right, I'll entertain a motion. The motion on the floor would be to research the possibility of a rebate program of some magnitude on utility boards, or on utility bills, payable hopefully in a December timeframe. Does that fit your request?
Yes, sir.
But not from utilities.
We don't know. It doesn't, that's not what we're voting on. We got to figure out if we're going to do it legally first. But we want to get the program, if we can get the program, we get the program. But, then we'll decide where it comes from. Then we don't want to do anything that's going to raise rates or anything like that. We're not going to look at that. But let's just see what we can come up with. I agree.
I'll
You
second.
guys okay with that?
I'll second Paul.
You want to make that Paul motion?
You did.
They already did.
Okay.
I second.
Second,
Yeah.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll vote yes, with the exception that this is just a research vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to figure out something.
And can I make a comment? I think it is important that we look into the legal portion of this, and I don't want anybody to understand that, that I'm reluctant to refund this out of utility money because I just want to keep the utility money. It would not be permissible under state law to take it out of the utility accounts because it's strictly rate-based, and their opinion with that would be, well, if you have money to give back, then you've been over-collecting all of this time, and it would be a huge issue for us.
That's fine.
And so I'm not saying that I'm opposed to it, I'm just saying that I hope that we certainly do look into the legal portions of it, and I'll do whatever the pleasure of the board is.
But it has
It
happened.
could be very simply a grant program back to utility customers or something.
Sure.
Could be a number of ways. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. All right, so we had a motion second. That motion will pass then. Comments from the audience? Everybody's tired. I know I am.
Baseball game.
Come on up. Come on up.
Is it still?
I'm Jim Vouch. I've been in lots of car shows, and I just want to say Logan put on a top-notch show.
Amen to that.
Good job.
Hey, Billy, come on up.
I'm Billy Baxter with the Captain's Tavern, and June 3rd will be our one-year anniversary. We've been open 1 year, and we would like to have a small event, but to have this event, the event would be a pig roast with a pull-behind pig roaster to park in the front of the building, and I would like to bring in 5 vintage cars, just to, set around the building, kind of show off, just a little car show, small. And, but what we'd like to have, or be able to use, or reserve, is about 6 parking spaces, 4 on the Walnut side and 2 spaces in the front, just to accommodate, 4 or 5 cars and a pig roaster.
That's a Friday night, Billy?
Saturday night.
Oh, that's Saturday night?
Yeah, so it's the day after Party in the Street, and as
That's
far
right.
as the event center, all of that I know that's going on there is a wedding,
What's the date?
June 3rd. And if I could reserve maybe 6 spaces just to use that, and then have a pig roast. It's my uncle's pig roaster, and it's stainless steel glass enclosed, really nice. He does catering. So we would have all the insurance and necessary paperwork, for that.
Okay. Is there anything that prohibits us from doing that out in the open on the pig roaster is the only thing I got a question about. Yes, sir?
Nothing that prohibits, but you would need to obtain a street and sidewalk excavation and obstruction permit. It's only $5. I need an application completed and a drawing showing the area that he's going to occupy. The only thing I would ask, since you're discussing it, is there is a bond requirement for that, is to ask you guys to vote to waive the bond. But that way, I'm not going to be against it.
Do we require that when we have a car show downtown?
If we have a big public event, we do not, but whenever it is, anytime we've had one business want to do that,
okay.
then yes, we do.
Okay.
What time of day is it, Billy?
Probably, well, the pig roaster would have to be set up at 6 o'clock in the morning to cook the pig and have it available at 4 in the evening. So we'd probably bring the cars in about noon, but, if we were to get the spaces, I would think that we would probably have to reserve them, so nobody else parked there.
Early
So,
Saturday morning, you shouldn't have any problem.
Probably up until about 9 o'clock.
One wife owns a business right there, right next to there, and they're always complaining about parking. They're busy on Saturday, so that's going to take up all their parking even worse right there.
I had...
That's her busiest day, Saturday, so I don't know about Beebs and Bubs or anything, but...
I talked to Matt Davis today, and he's okay with the Walnut side in front of their building there. He gave his blessing with that, but I would just... I was going to talk to Roxy next door to see if she was okay with it.
Yeah.
I would just like to have 2 spaces in the front, if possible. One for the pig roaster and just 1 extra space for maybe a vehicle.
I thought you said like 5 or 6 cars or something.
Yeah, but
on the side
four
too,
spaces
right?
on the side.
Oh, okay.
And I already talked to Matt Davis, and he said he was fine with that.
Well, if the merchants are okay, I don't know there would be an issue, but you guys okay with this?
As long as all the surrounding neighbors, it'd be kind of a good neighbor thing.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're talking to them.
Yeah, I talked to Matt Davis, but Roxy wasn't in today, so I'll get with her and just to make sure, see if she agrees.
How about Christian? I'm more worried,
I can talk to Christian also.
Okay.
Then I'll get with Mr. Clark tomorrow,
Okay.
and whatever I
All
have to do with
Yeah,
that.
we can do that in 10 minutes.
Okay.
We would need a vote to waive the bond requirement for the permitting.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to waive the bond requirement, provided that all this goes through and all the retail merchants agree that are surrounding there.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion will carry.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Billy.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments from the audience? Yes, sir? While Jamie's taking 10 minutes to get up here, I just want to remind everybody, I'm sorry, Jamie, Memorial Day Parade, May 29th, Mr. Cunningham was in the day. I believe Mr. Davis is also assisting him on the organization of this. 9:30, I'm primarily talking to council here. If you guys want to ride in the parade, 9:30 over to meeting place over there, and parade starts at 10. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm James Howard. I'd like to address one of the topics you had on your employees in the PERF. I applaud y'all for making your employees whole. One other thing I would like to address is what Mr. Seymour said about closing the door. There is provisions in our bargaining agreement for that, the 91-day policy. If everybody could work together on that agreement, we could close them doors and keep the basement locked. Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
I got one thing I forgot.
Yes, sir.
It's very important. It's something that I witnessed this weekend, and hell, I don't know why I forgot it. The big pile of debris that's at the end of the dock. there was actually 2 people walking on it this weekend. I seen it along with probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 other people. My question, I got a question for Johnny, and it's just an idea. Is there any way, we got a boat and gave to us. I don't know if it runs, if it don't run, if we've had it out, I don't know much about it. Is there any way that an apparatus like a rake with some tines that we could make with a rope on it, and we could just toss out a little bit of a tine and then pull it out before the water gets too low? Because once that water gets low, now all of a sudden we're having to haul it away. So my question is, and I don't want to do something unsafe, but I think as long as we took a little bit at a time and worked it, because we're obviously don't have any way else to keep this from happening. It's going to happen, and I think as a city, it is our dock. I know there's a boat sitting there, and we got things to work out, but when I seen them 2 people walking on that, he cannot keep his eye on idiots. So we need to make that a priority. And I don't know whether that would work, Johnny.
I don't think a 20-foot fiberglass boat.
I didn't know what they gave you.
Yeah, it's 20-foot.
So my other question, Mario, is how do we maintain this? Because we can't let that sit there. I don't know what to do.
Well, in the past, the power plant was our savior. AEP used to come over with their tug, what they call wheel wash. In other words, take their prop and back up to it and keep it cleaned out. We can make a call, reach out to some of the local other businesses out there on the river, see if they'll send a tug down to do it, but we're going to pay for it.
Well, it probably has to happen, though.
I just don't think that we can ignore it. I just don't think that we can take and...
People walking on it?
They were standing out probably 15, 20 feet on the damn thing. They were out on it. Never had a life jacket on or anything.
Now, Captain Mike he had his boat working Friday, getting some of the drift out with that tugboat he has.
Is it big enough, though?
You know, the river, it's dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, you have no business out there.
Why don't you get some prices, and let's get this thing taken care of.
Well, keep in mind, we may get it cleaned this week and
I know.
Be right back at it next week, so.
Well, maybe then we can ask Mike to keep it.
What we may do is look to get a maintenance contract with a marine contractor.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Tom?
Tom Snyder. I live down on Walnut Street, or no, High Street, sorry. When the casino boat was at the foot of Walnut Street, and when Mike started his restaurant, there were barges that went farther than what are down there now. It's a straight, and so you got the water between the barges, and that's where all the driftwood goes. When the Corps of Engineers made the requirement that in the beginning there was a barge down there up in the corner, and that took all the wood that's floating down the river and it pushed it out in the middle of the river, and none of it came in there. But over the years, you don't have as many barges.
True.
So I know you have an immediate problem, but you need to look at what the long term is, and maybe you don't want to do anything because of what's planned for the river. I'm not sure.
Well, a lot of it's also got to do with getting the old boat out. Because you do something down there on that end, out into the river, and then you have to get that old boat out.
That's correct.
But yeah, we do have an immediate need, so you're right, Tom. You're right. Thanks.
I think that was called. That's right. Exactly.
So we'll get somebody on that. All right, okay, thanks. So we'll get on that, Paul. All right, any other comments? If not, we got any advance payments this month? Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the claims. Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion will carry, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
I need a copy of that.
Thank you very much.
He signs it, or Phil signs it.
Randy, tell them. Always tell them. I mean, we're not going to reimburse it. We're not going to do anything about it. He wants it. Right, now he's just not going to get it. How long has it been open? There's a place down there we'll find that. Project.
I'll make sure about it.
Yes,
That's gonna be nice.
but they're going to come present to you guys too, I guess. I mean, it's a great project. I mean, I like the project. Try to move something and try to make it, it's going to be as good or nice.
Thank you.
I've thought it twice when I've come down there. I agree with that. It's like, no problem.
We drive by the
Yeah.
We really get some, they did a great job.
I know.
Thanks.
You know, I always thought if there was a way to put a big stop sign like in the middle, up high, but that's kind of ugly then.
Hey guys, I think they're,
It's there, but it's a